The digital artifacts presented in this space are contained within a LiDAR scan of the Enlightenment Gallery at the British Museum. The works in the center of the room are documents from the workshops entitled 3D Digital Objects and the Post-Colonial Museum Space, completed at the British Museum in 2018. These events were designed to draw attention to the museum's imperial legacy and to acts of control evident in how visitors are positioned. They were also intended to highlight how computational forms of imaging technology, readily available on consumer-level mobile devices, might offer alternative perspectives for navigating the museum space, thereby subverting normative usage and expectations. The act of scanning objects in the museum from a visitor's perspective contrasts with traditional forms of attentive engagement. Participants of the workshops were encouraged to use consumer-level 3D scanning capabilities of mobile phones to consider the utilization of the technology as an embodied process. In this context, participants were tasked to examine how the museum's spatial organization and display strategies impact visitor perceptions of artifacts, and how this is further problematized by the physical act of creating 3D scans on mobile phone technology. The act of scanning involves navigating the museum's architecture, other visitors and systems of display from different angles and perspectives. It also involves focus on objects that are not often contemplated to be part of the collection, such as items from the cafe, the corners of display cabinets, or industrial humidifiers designed to keep the conditions of the museum optimal. The focus on an artifact's historical background, its position in the collection, its acquisition context, and its role in their original life world shifts in post-photographic images. In this new digital context, the emphasis is often more on the artifact's aesthetic or technical resemblance to the thing it was created from. The works in this gallery of the MoCIA explore the relationship between artifacts and their computationally created 3D forms as they become decontextualized from the institution through digital interfaces mediated by screens. The research conducted in this space questions whether, instead of challenging traditional museum practices, the use of computational imaging may embody extractive categorization and acquisition in digital form. This process of questioning is particularly relevant if computationally created 3D imaging processes are considered in relation to the museum's imperial legacy, which is rooted in collections acquired through colonial endeavor.
The curated displays at either end of the gallery explore how museum spaces direct visitors around collections through the usage of thematic routes and trails. These are designed by the institution to help manage access to the vastness of encyclopedic collections. They direct visitors' attention to curated thematic ideas, facilitating understanding in various ways. These include spotlight tours focusing on famous works and time-specific experiences, offered in 1, 2, or 3-hour slots. These routes signal ways to engage with the collection from different perspectives. They are seen to be able to shift the institution's positionality, addressing current, urgent, politically or socially relevant subjects. The COVID pandemic and movements like Black Lives Matter have further influenced how museums navigate their spaces, intertwining these global issues with their roots and collections. The digital artifacts in this gallery are created by following the British Museum's Collecting and Empire Trail. Constructed in 2020, the trail meticulously uses language to contextualize objects and their legitimacy within the museum's collection. Terms like donated, acquired, commissioned, discovered, and seized are foregrounded in the associated explanations of artifacts. Though these languages do little to mask the contested and problematic condition of the collection framed through these terms.
The Collecting and Empire Trail explored through post-photographic practice in this gallery of the PPM highlights the complexity of issues surrounding ownership and repatriation within collections, especially in the context of current digital culture.
The Collecting and Empire Trail, explored through the creation of computational images in this gallery of the MoCIA, highlights the complexity of issues surrounding ownership and repatriation within collections, especially in the context of current digital culture. The trail's omission of key exhibits, such as the Benin bronzes, Moai, the Parthenon sculptures, Magdala collection, or the Asante gold regalia, points to unresolved issues in museum governance over artifacts in the collection. Though the British Museum labels these as contested objects from the collection, acknowledging the discussion surrounding acquisition history on their website, they are not part of the discussion in the context of the trail around the gallery, designed for mass consumption. There is also no mention in this context of the contested presence of human remains within the collection and the system of museum gallery display, which is a subject of focus in the docile bodies room of this digital museum.